let's carry on. I'm from Sky Arts. My name is Kristen Bjaastad. I'm an art director there in the digital department currently, but I've done lots of other jobs while I've been there. For a while I was design directing Sky News, and I worked quite a lot with Sky News over the years, but decided to transition out of that and move into digital work, and I'm very interested in interactive projects, which this is kind of an interactive project, but it's also a motion design project as well. I'm going to turn down the audio on this. This is a show reel from Sky Creative, just so to give you an idea of what Sky Creative is. I just want you to actually just watch the video. Sorry about the guns at the beginning. This show reel was put together by blokes, so that explains sports and the guns, and yeah, a bit of sex appeal in there as well. But Sky Creative is an amalgamation of several different areas in Sky. There were different creative departments. There was a promos department. There was an interactive department. There was a motion design and compositing and 3D department as well, and they were all brought together under one roof. And we're in a process that's been going on for a couple of years now to try and make sense of what that is. But as you can see from the visuals that you're seeing here, we handle a lot of stuff. It's advertising, it's channel branding, it's internal communications, it's dealing with day-to-day design for channels like Sky News and Sky Sports. Those are big beasts and they require a lot of design work. But Sky Travel, there's the betting channels. It's a big beast to feed, and it's a quite difficult job trying to make sense of all of that. But one of the things that we do need to do, obviously, is hire people, develop talent. We have been working with universities over the years, creating briefs and having students answer our briefs, and we've gone through a process of doing critiques with them. But in the past, all of those projects have been theoretical. They're usually, there's like a shopping list of things we ask them to do, and they do it. They do storyboards, and they do concepts, and they present them on paper, or they present them as a PowerPoint presentation, but it's never television. It's never something real, and they never actually finish anything. And that actually is something that kind of bothered me as we were working with these various universities on these projects, is that people actually didn't finish a project. Just going to stop that and carry on to the next slide. Now, this is the new designers event that happens at the Business Design Center. It's just actually up the road, not too far from Angel Tube. It happens at the end of June and into July. And Sky Creative's had a presence there for the last about 4 years. We've either had a booth or we've run a forum for educators. I mean, it's a great place to get together with educators because all the big courses are there, the lecturers are there, the tutors are there, the students are there, and if you want to talk to people at one place, this is a good place to catch them. So my colleague Paul Butler, who's a design director at Sky Creative, and myself, and another one of the design directors, David Poole, set up this forum that was designed to get people who were teaching to talk to people in industry, and we brought in people from post-production and other broadcasters, and we got together for sort of like a lunch event, and had some students there as well, and just talked about how that conveyor belt from education into industry is working or not working, as the case may be. And we did this for a couple of years, and generally the format was the same. It was a lot of complaining about what wasn't working. You get a lot of complaints from the students about how they weren't being taught the skills they needed for industry. You get industry complaining about education wasn't really focused on what was needed by the businesses, and then you get the educators complaining about there was difficulties in being able to change their courses because they had like rigid, their courses were quite rigid. They felt they had rigid management that kept them from being as flexible as they'd like to be. So there was a lot of this kind of thing. And what I found was the most interesting part of the event was afterwards, which is the drinks, where you get together with people and you just casually talk and network. And that's where the Sky Art Stings project came from. I was actually talking to the woman that runs motion graphics at Ravensbourne and the gentleman that runs graphic design at Nottingham Trent University. And we were just bemoaning the fact that Sky, big broadcaster, wouldn't it be great if they actually gave up some of their airtime to show student work? And I'm sitting there thinking, I wonder if there's a way we can do it. Is there a way we can do it? What channel would be receptive to showing creative student work? And I thought, Sky Arts. It's got to be Sky Arts. Sky Arts is a natural home for this kind of thing, I thought. And I said, let's hold that thought. I'm going to go back to my management and talk to them about whether or not they'd be interested in helping, supporting us putting together. And I said, let's borrow from, I'm shameless, so let's borrow from E-Stings. Is everyone aware of E-Stings? E4, does anyone watch E4 in here? E4, you know E-Stings? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I know E4.
Okay, well E4, sometimes on E4 you get these quirky video pieces that, like, you remember there was a piece where the girl's trying to catch a butterfly and...
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay, that piece is competition winner for a competition they run every year. And usually we'll see these pieces in students' portfolios where they've made things for E4. They've actually made an animation because you have to make something finished to enter. So I borrowed that idea, went to my manager and said, wouldn't it be a great idea to do this for Sky Arts? And my manager at the time, Mike Hurst, was running creative, said, oh, I don't know, students, it's not our audience, the arts audience is an older audience. I just don't think students will want to make work for it. And I said, wait a minute, no, it's arts, they will be interested, I can guarantee you. These are arts and design students, they will want to do it. He said, okay, all right, it's a good idea. You just have to get buy-in from the head of arts. So he basically sanctioned the thing, and I had to go on my merry way and get the approval from, get the head of arts to give up a bit of their advertising presentation time to play a 10-second piece for our winner. And I mean, for me, that was actually the most difficult part, because to get a meeting with a channel head at Sky, especially when you're not somebody that they know personally, is very, very difficult. But after many months and tenacious work and hounding the PA, eventually I got my meeting, and he's like, oh, great idea, I love it, let's go for it. So that was the green light. Once we got that, we could go ahead and create a competition for Sky Arts. And I just want to talk a bit about Sky Arts here. Sky Arts has gotten a lot of investment over the last couple of years. I think that's quite a key thing, that our competition was happening at the same time, that they were looking at the branding of Sky Arts and how they wanted to position it. And I'll just read this little statement this is written by one of the marketing people for arts. Sky Arts is about providing choice. We give arts lovers the content they are passionate about and make great arts accessible to everyone. So accessibility is a very important concept here. It's the only stable of television channels in the UK dedicated entirely to the arts. They broadcast 24 hours a day. There's 2 channels. There's Sky Arts 1, Sky Arts 2. Sky Arts 1 tends to be a bit more populist. There's a lot of popular music, rock music, what we call the dad's rock audience. Their stuff is there. The music festivals are there. Sky Arts 2 tends to be what you consider more traditional arts. So there'll be the operas and the ballets will be on 2. But they work together as a brand, and sometimes you might find the odd thing slipping from one channel to the other. And a lot of work has gone into developing bespoke programming for arts as well. So I'm just going to go through a variety of, just show you some quick slides on kind of stuff that's actually being shown on Sky Arts. So this is Mariella Frostrup, who's doing the Hay Sessions. at, they'll be doing this, this week? It's either this week or next week. They're at the Hay Festival, and they've got quite a big presence there. So they'll have people coming on and being interviewed about their work directly at Hay. There's been a burlesque strand recently on there, so it's it's popular arts as well as high arts and fine arts. Original programming. This is a series called Playhouse Presents, and several playwrights have been asked to. This particular one is Sandy Toksvig. She's written a little play called The Man. It's got Stephen Fry and Zoe Wanamaker in it, and it's a political 30 minutes about politics and power broking of the 1%. I think that's on this week. Looks like it might be very interesting. But there's been a whole series of these little tiny 30-minute dramas that we've been playing. South Bank Show, we've got South Bank Show now in Sky Arts, and this particular week they're doing the roots of hip-hop in East London. And they also bring in foreign language imports. This particular series is called Prisoners of War. It's an Israeli series, and it actually was the original Homeland. So Homeland, I think some of you may have seen that. That was Channel 4, wasn't it? Channel 4 was showing Homeland. Prisoners of War was actually the original Homeland. It is a foreign language film, so it will be subtitled. But you can do that in arts, that's fine. So really, really interesting, eclectic mix of stuff, and it's all over the place, and there's something for everybody there. So that's the brand, and from there we developed this idea of doing this competition, and I had to come up with a way to sell it to the kids. And I worked with a copywriter friend of mine, and we came up with this idea of 15 minutes of fame, borrowing from the Warhol idea of you're starting your career, we're going to give you your first little chunk of fame, but you have to submit your 20-second piece to do that. And we put together the brief, and basically what we're doing here is we're crowdsourcing creative work to go on the channel. And what I felt was that we needed to keep things really simple and very clear, but open at the same time. So I've written up this brief, and I don't know if you've seen a lot of industry briefs. They tend to be really long, lots of verbiage, and so I tried to keep this one quite simple. And I basically was asking the students to design a 20-second animation that reveals, creates, or fills the word arts. And it has to be our letter forms. So we've got a logo that's got ARTS in a font that we call Sky Font. It's quite chunky, so it's good. It's a nice chunky shape that you can work with. And I supply that to them in a download pack. And I've told them we're looking for left field interpretations of art as concept, as well as expressing the brand itself. So you're thinking about things like accessibility. You're thinking about it's popular. It's unexpected. So all those things we're looking for in interpretations of the brand. I've asked them to show us something that surprises, delights, or even shocks us. Now, I've gone around and given this brief to a variety of design courses around the country, and I always try and emphasize this. I'm looking for surprise. That's what this is about. I want, and if you can shock me, do it, because I would love to be shocked. How often are we actually shocked by something we've seen on television? Maybe on news, but not generally on entertainment's channel. So we actually got a couple of shocking submissions this year, actually, which we haven't been able to use, but we kind of like filed them in the background, thinking, ooh, it'd be nice to do something with this, but what? And then they're free to use any medium they want. That could be stop frame animation, they could do hand-drawn cells, they could film something, they could video something, they can use photography. I'm trying to keep it, the entry level very low, so that even if they just want to draw something in a sketchbook and take photographs of it, they can do that, no problem. All they have to do is make sure that they can produce that piece in HD, and I've given them very clear direction about what an HD frame of video is. So if they can run a bunch of those, they can just build it in Photoshop if they want, and run it out as an animation. And I've also, they were allowed to also contact us directly if they had any questions about this. So that seems like that's not been a problem. The schools have been pretty good about providing support for making videos for those people that haven't done it before. And then the other thing you need to do is be very, very clear that what your criteria is, what you're looking for in a winning entry. And we've said we were looking for originality, technical ability, and a high level of craftsmanship. That's one of the things that we felt that we sometimes found missing from portfolios when people are coming through, is there isn't always an emphasis on craftsmanship. A lot about ideas, a lot about writing and justifying things and all of that, but not necessarily about actually crafting pieces. At Sky, we do require people to make things. Somehow, we're not rigid about how they make them, but a lot of people have to be quite hands-on, and you need to be quite flexible about that. So we were looking to create a project that asked people to actually craft something. Very important. So the first year that we did this project, we had no idea what we were going to get. I put the website out there. I contacted a bunch of lecturers. I got quite a nice mailing list together, and I contacted lecturers via email, told them this project was out. I went to a few schools. I targeted some that I knew were quite important, like Ravensbourne, Chelsea College of Art. Where else did I go? That might have been, I may have only done those two that year. But we basically ran it from October, closed it mid-February, so they would get most of the academic year, plenty of time in there. What we're hoping that would happen would be that some lecturers would build it into their course, and only one did, but the one that did it did an amazing job. That was Chelsea. Over the course of that time period, those months, a few entries trickled in. Kind of all right. There were a few there I thought, okay, well maybe we could take a few and clean them up, dust them off, and we'll have something that's presentable for television. But the last day, so we get to the last day, I was actually off ill that day, which is probably a good thing. Came in a couple of days later and opened up my email box, and for every entry I get an email saying so-and-so entered, so-and-so entered. And when I opened up my email box, it went whew, like that. Everybody entered the last day. Everything came in the last day, and I was almost in tears. So, it's been a success after all. But I started going through and opening these entries up and taking a look at them. And I was blown away, absolutely blown away at the level of creative thinking and the work that people had done. And absolutely amazing. We got 65 entries. I think we had about 250 people that registered to do the project. Out of that, 65 actually entered pieces from a variety of schools. But there were some that Sheffield Hallam, I think they put it into their course. University of Creative Arts. There's a few of them that are down, it's like Epsom, Farnham, Rochester. We got several entries from there. Central St. Martin's, Ravensbourne, and then Chelsea, because they made it a part of their one of their modules. Had fabulous entries. Out of that, we had so many good ones that we shortlisted 21 of them, and we actually had an awards event. We invited them all in. The head of arts, James Hunt, was there. The head of creative, Mike Hurst, was there. We also had a senior designer there to talk about career in motion graphic design as well. And I mean, this was just a really wonderful event. It was great to meet people whose pieces I'd been looking at for several months. And I'm just going to show you. Let's turn this up. Show you the short list. This is the winner in the 6 shortlisted pieces. Very simple, as we liked about it. So those were our shortlisted. No, those were our runners-up, and just go through here. The metal piece that looks like it's in fluid. It's called ferrofluidity. That's done by a marvelous young designer named Jack Sharples. We actually, after this project, after we finished the award ceremony, James Hunt, because he's repositioning his channels and he's looking at his rebranding his channels, he just felt like these stings were the essence of what the brand was all about. He liked their originality, the fact that they're a little bit raw. They're obviously done by different people, so they've got a lot of variety to them.